When I took office, I asked our members what their major concern was, and special education and the changes to special education was the #1 issue. Our CEO, Mr. Claypool, spent $14 million of our tax dollars on consultants to develop this anti-student data collection requirement, but didn't spend a dime to give schools the additional staffing they needed to collect it. One principal captured this sentiment perfectly when he wrote, "I'm not going to deny services to a kid. Ethically, I just can't do that. But this system is so rigged that it incentivizes denying those services." I'd like to end by addressing a comment that I've heard Mr. Claypool respond with quite often in response to the WBEZ article, and that's the need to collect data. But he makes that comment as if data isn't already being collected. It's incredibly important that we note that the IEP team, the one that determines the services a child needs, already collects an immense amount of data on their child. The team is composed of classroom teachers, a special education teacher, who both observe and assess the child's work every day of the school year, a social worker and a psychologist who perform a battery of assessments to tune into the specific learning and behavioral needs of the child, an occupational therapist, physical therapist, speech therapist, and other specialists whose professional observations and assessments inform the decisions of the IEP team. Last but not least, these teams consist of the child's parents who've been observing and informally collecting data on that child since birth. What CPS is now requiring is not basic data collection. The IEP team has already done that. What CPS is requiring is unnecessary, additional, superfluous data collection. In order to put this into perspective, I want you to imagine having a team of medical professionals observe and assess your child, and as a result of the assessment, diagnose your child with asthma or diabetes or some other illness that can be helped with immediate treatment like an inhaler or insulin. Now imagine that having the hospital administration say, "No, we won't accept this diagnosis until you fill out some paperwork that requires you to give the child aspirin and write down how the child is doing on that aspirin every 15 minutes for the next 3 months." This is the equivalent of what our mayor's office, through Mr. Claypool and this board, has done to special education students and their families.